morning, good afternoon and good evening YouTube. My name is Sharon and welcome to our very first video on this channel. So what's a plant channel without having a tour? Over the next few videos I'm going to start with a tour of my collection. And our first tour is the genus Sarcochilus, a little orchid that's native to Australia. And let me take a moment to introduce Roo, Storm's brother. These boys are Cornish Rex kittens and they get into everything. But hey, back to the orchids. So for those of you who have no idea where I am, I'm in Melbourne, Australia. Melbourne is in the state of Victoria. Our climate is described as a warm temperate, and right now it's the middle of January, so we're right in the height of our summer. I live in an inner seaside suburb of Melbourne, and the beach is only a 6-minute walk down the road. Our maximum highs in summer can get somewhere around 45 to 47 degrees Celsius. In winter, we remain just above freezing. In some areas of the state of Victoria, it does get a little bit below zero, but not by much, but certainly not where I am. So for a moment, let me talk about Sarcochilus a bit more generally before we get into the specifics of my collection. Sarcochilus are an Australian native orchid, and they're found along the east coast of Australia. Their growth habit comprises of fans. They look like Vander fans. One leaf grows on the left, and then the next leaf grows on the right. New growths means a new fan, and each fan can produce multiple spikes year after year. So the more fans you have within your pot, the fuller your plant will be, and the more flowers you'll have in your sprays. This first one I'm going to show you is Sarcochilus Fitzgeraldi, variant Sacred Heart crossed with the variant Elaine. I will put the names of all of these up in the top corner, but I should say right up front is that I've received all of these orchids into my collection within the last 6 months. Sarcochilus is a new genus for me. I've never had them before, and I wanted to expand my collection by getting a fair few plants. And really then I get to see how they work. This little girl is in bark, and you can see here she's got a little bit of sun damage already. But she's a good reproducer, and she seems to be pretty happy in her pot. So I've left her as she is. And who doesn't love to see those green root tips? I love seeing those. You know what else I don't mind seeing? Is tiny little spiders that make their home in there, because they get rid of bugs. And in Australia, there's lots of bugs. This one is Sundanus Moonlight. Another cute little hybrid. This one I received in December. I got it at my local Orchid Society meeting. They were doing a bit of a Christmas charity auction. So I picked it up for a song. Here you can see the parents. So a yellow and a red. I really look forward to seeing this one flower. I have no idea what she's going to look like, but I bet she's going to look really pretty. She's in bark and perlite. Seems to have a little bit of burn on the root, so we'll just be keeping an eye on her. And this one is another hybrid called Leanne's Gold. And boy, did I strike gold with this one. Look how lush she is. Beautiful, beautiful Sarcochilus orchid. Now this one I also got in December at the Orchid Society Christmas dinner, but I didn't win it at an auction. I won it in a raffle, and boy is she gorgeous. So she's in a bit of a combination of perlite, bark, and a little bit of leca thrown in, and I think some pumice is also in there as well. Now, she's clearly bloomed before, but gee, she's beautiful, and I look forward for her to blooming again. What was that? That was a snail. We just found a snail. I've never seen a snail on my orchids before. That's the very first time I've ever seen a snail. We'll have to keep an eye out for more, and if so, we need to spray with hydrogen peroxide. But I love this orchid. I fell in love with her the minute I saw her in the basket of goodies that I won, and I can't wait to see what she does. Our next orchid is Ellie, and that's actually the hybrid name, Ellie. Ellie came in the same basket as Leanne's Gold, so I won her in the raffle. So again, there's 3 orchids that I've only had since December. So all these guys are acclimating at the moment. This one's a little unsteady in her pot, so she probably needs a stake just to secure her. But I'm really happy with how that they're doing. They're all starting to throw out new roots or new growths. Really, you can't ask much more than that. Now these next 2 were the very first Sarcochilus that I bought last year now. In September 22, I went to my very first orchid show and I picked up these 2 orchids. After they'd settled in, I repotted them in pure scoria, and I'm happy to keep them there. They seem to love this medium. It makes sense, they're a lithiophyte. This one is Sarcochilus Heidi. And when I was speaking to the grower, I said, give me something that's red, because I love red. And he picked out Sarcochilus Heidi for me. Yet to see her bloom, very excited to watch her grow. She seems to be going from strength to strength in this setup, and I really couldn't be happy with her. And the last one on this tray, it's a little orchid, but gee, the name packs an awful punch. I'm not even going to try and read this all out right now. I will put the name of this orchid up for you. But little thing, she packs a punch. Like the other one, I got them on the same day, waited till they started growing roots and moved them into scoria. And I'm really thrilled with how they're going. This one's a little smaller than the other one was when I originally bought it. She's just starting on a new fan. But again, like the other one, really going to look forward to seeing how she's going to grow. And she's also starting a new leaf, as you can see there. Really pretty. And this little guy here I've had since about August. And he's just started to put out this little second growth down here. This is Sarcochilus aqualis. It's the cream brown spot comboin crossed with the cream brown spot Dinalus Creek. And I seem to have a visiting bird in the background right now. And she's just had a bit of a water on the mount. And we'll just give her a little bit more. Just make sure that's nice and wet. I'm doing this 2 to 3 times a day at the moment with the weather down here. It's been beautiful. But these guys need a reasonable bit of moisture. The Sarcochilus aqualis, which will have a beautiful white, creamy, very light yellow flower, is my understanding. And if it doesn't have that, then it's something completely different, and it's not Sarcochilus aqualis after all. But we'll find out when she flowers. Isn't she a lovely mount? 5 Sarcochilus orchids on this mount. But have a look at the size of the poly that's sitting next to it, and then you'll notice how small these plants are. So these plants I got on this mount as part of the Orchid Society Christmas dinner. Yet again, the same function. It was the first item on the auction, and I was lucky enough to snap it up. The mount wasn't in the greatest of state. So over Christmas, I took the orchids off, replaced all of the gutter guard, which is that plastic stuff that you can see holding the moss on, replaced all the moss and reattached everything. And now it's a matter of letting the orchids settle in and do their thing. I even like the Buddha. On the mount is Sarcochilus Bernice Klein crossed with the painted lady Zoe, and it's the crimson variety. Some lovely sprays of flowers are really going to make this mount really nice to look at in the future. And I'm sorry, we just need to look at this one more time, just to have a look at these 2 plants together. Oh yeah, that happened. It really happened while I was trying to show you this beautiful inflorescence that you can see here. I broke my plant. Oops. Well, look, ultimately we have to show our failures, but I broke the poly. The beautiful alocasia poly. Fortunately, she's pretty good at growing leaves, so I'm sure that she'll bounce back pretty fast. Have a look at this pretty inflorescence. This is the first time she's thrown one for me. And look at that purple leaf. I'm sorry, I just had to. But now we're going to go on to seedlings. And here are the seedlings. I'll put the name of each seedling up on the screen here. But I want to tell you a little bit about what's been going on with these guys. Up until Christmas, these guys were doing really well. They were outside in an eastern position, getting morning sun throughout the spring. But as soon as the warmer weather hit, late December, they've really started to suffer and suffer quickly. So I've brought them inside and I'm going to be repotting them. I want to get them out of this media and I want to make sure that they're all okay, and I'm going to put them into a community pot and leave them inside under a grow light. I'm just not convinced that the position that they're in now is the right position, and I'm really not happy with some of the state of these orchids, and I think that they can do better. I'm just not prepared to leave them as they are. So guess what my first repot video will be, guys? We'll be putting these into a little community pot. But up until the last couple of weeks, these guys have been doing really well. I'm hoping that they're going to bounce back pretty quickly. We'll have to see how we go. Well, there you go, everyone. That's it. My entire Sarcochilus collection as of January 2023. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey, and thank you for watching this video if you've made it to the end. If you want to learn more about Sarcochilus and specifically how these Sarcochilus do, subscribe to the channel and smash that like button if you enjoyed this video. I hope you're looking forward to the next tour, and we'll see you then. Bye.